Meghann. Thank you so much for being here for my first YouTube live on my own channel. I am so excited and I get to see all these awesome comments coming through. Let me know, I'm trying to breathe. Let me know that you can see me and hear me well. I am so excited to see my friends Mindy and Kathy and Catherine here. Thank you, Kathy, so much. You are such an inspiration to me. So I darn near cried when you said that you loved my thumbnail. Like really, seriously, just teared up. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am really excited to start creating more on my channel this year, If you don't know me, my name is Meghann Andrew, and I am a paper crafter. I create scrapbook layouts, I create cards, pocket pages, everything you can imagine with paper and stamps and pretty things. So welcome here to my YouTube channel, and I'm just really excited to be here. I have been having a lot of fun lately with playing with different color combinations, and there's always inspiration around us. And today I took some inspiration from a piece of stationery that I found on my desk. Actually, it was something that Catherine Teshjan bought for me. She knows that I love Cath Kidston. It's a brand that's from the UK. It was one of my favorite stops every time we go to London. And if you don't know, my husband is from England, so we typically go back to the UK once a year. So I would always hit up Cath Kidston and buy all the things. And I take a lot of notes. I don't know if you guys are still paper people. Give me a comment if you are. I still have to write things down. And so I always have like a notebook sitting on my desk. So I pulled this one out of my sit-down desk and had it on my desk, and I thought, wow, that is such a cool color combination. And when I saw these colors, I instantly thought of Concord and Ninth hues. If you guys don't know, Concord and Ninth makes really amazing colors that they're just really modern and fresh. And one of my favorites, which is called Stardust, matches this color perfectly. So as soon as I saw it, I immediately thought, I want to make a card with that color combination. And so that's what I'm going to show you today. Scrapbook.com is saying, yes, they're definitely a paper person. I mean, we have to be, right? That's our job. We work with paper, so we like to write things down. Okay, so I'm going to be creating, let me just show you a picture of the card that I'm creating today. And I know that we're in winter and we're dreaming of spring, but in the industry that I work in, we're always 1 to 2 seasons ahead. And sometimes I find it just nice to work in the season that we're in right now. And so this cute little sweater card using some Concord and Ninth products, using this color scheme. And what I love about it, I'm going to teach you guys a few things about one of my favorite go-to card designs, and then how I use different ratios of color. Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here again. Okay, I'm going to switch cameras. We're going to go to the down camera. Okay, smooth transition. That was good. That was good. And funny enough, it was a little bit stressful today because we just had an electrician in running all my wires, because for so long I had wires like hanging above my head and everything. And so now everything is tucked away in the ceiling and in the floor joists and everything. So I'm so excited about that. But it was a little bit nerve-wracking to make sure that everything worked when I came on camera today. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Sweater Season Dies and Stamp Set. Now you can get this in a bundle. It is currently out of stock on Concord and Ninth. There are still a couple left at scrapbook.com, and I've linked that in the video description. So you can find that. Oh, look at that. I just did a little fly out there. So you can find everything I'm using today in the description below. If it comes back in stock at Concord and Ninth, I will give a little heads up on my Instagram stories so that you guys know. But I love this little set. I think It is the cutest darn thing. You can create kind of Christmas sweaters. You can create fuzzy hats. It has a sentiment die cut. But you can also create just winter sweaters, which is what I'm going to do today. And you can decorate them with all of these cute little textures. You also have a snowflake and you have some sentiments here. So that's the bundle I'm going to be using today. I'm also going to use this sentiment stamp, and this is one of my favorites because I send a lot of thank you cards, but you also have Oh Happy Day, you have Celebrate, and I just love the fonts on these. I think Concord and 9 sentiments are just the best, and so this is one of those that is just a great investment to have. It's called Happy Thanks. And then here is the color combination we're going to be using today. If you don't know, this is actually a bundle from Concord and 9th, and I think I forgot to link it, but I will add that to my video description below. But you can actually make these little color swatches. And I find that to be so incredibly helpful just to have some of these on hand. So whenever something inspires you like this, make a little swatch card of it. And if you can't create with it right away, at least you have this on hand so that when you're ready to create, you have that inspiration nearby. Hi, Angela. No, you're not late. You're all good. We're just talking about what I'm going to be using today and the color combinations I'm going to be sharing. So the one color that I added to this, because in the flowers you can see there's some of the cranberry, and how perfect is that, right? So I added cranberry too. I thought Pebble, it's not as dark as the leaves in here, but I thought it was the perfect neutral to use for this card. The other thing that I'm going to be using is the quilted card front die. Now this is a really popular die from Concord and 9th, and I'm going to be talking to you about how I think card front dies are just an awesome investment. They really are. So if you're a new card maker or a seasoned card maker, I want to talk to you a little bit about one of my go-to designs, which is what I'm going to be creating for this card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my A2 size piece of blueberry. Now blueberry is a really beautiful, like medium blue. It's not navy, it's not light blue, it's just the perfect medium. I'm going to use that for my card front. I typically create card fronts and I don't attach them to the folded cards until I'm ready to send them. And I find that easier just for storage purposes. Now that's going to be my A2 front, and then I'm going to use the Pebble. This is that beautiful neutral, and I'm going to die cut this quilted card front. Here's the mistake that I always make. I always will keep my paper, which I usually cut most of my papers down to A2 before I start creating, because I just find that a more manageable size to work with. But I'll usually just run that through my die cutting machine and then realize that I wanted that to be 1/4 of an inch smaller on both sides so that I could layer it on my blueberry. And when you go to cut, when it has these, these cuts made from the quilted panel die, it can get a little bit rough cutting through that. So always make sure before you die cut your card front die, make sure you trim that panel down first to the size that you want. So I'm going to trim off 1/4 of an inch from both sides. Lisa, the blue is gorgeous. Barb, oh Barb, I don't know if you saw Barb. Let me go back to my front camera. I think that's Barb Wong there. I have 2 Barb Wong cards here. I just got one this week and they are so gorgeous. I just had to put them here. So if you want to see some beautiful cards, go check out Barb Wong's Instagram account. So I just had to call you out, Barb. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I've cut this panel down by 1/4 of an inch on both sides. Then what I'm going to do, I have my scrapbook.com mint tape here and my mint tape dispenser. Love this. It always sits on the edge of my desk. I'm going to put this in the center of my quilted card front die to make sure that the pattern is equal all around. Because remember, we don't want to cut after we die cut. I'm gonna move that out of the way. Let me go a bit wider here so I can get my Spellbinders Platinum 6 here. Try not to drop it as I move it around because I have done that before. I've totally dropped my machine. Usually it's only been when I've been recording a video, so I had to edit that out. But yeah, scrapbook.com, love your mint tape. I love it because I don't have to worry about it tearing the paper. It's just a really good tape. It has a paper quality to it. It's just really great. Okay, I'm gonna move this back out of the way real quick. Next I need a die cut cam, Kathy. Need that so I don't have to lift up that thing during my lives. And I'm still shaking, you guys. I'm still shaking. All right. Yeah, I'm so glad it arrived too, Barb. It just made my week. It made my week, and I knew that I had to put it back there right away. Okay, I'm just gonna pull this guy off. It's a little bit stuck to my pebble, so we'll get that off before I adhere it. But look at that texture. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. It has like a pillowy effect in the center. And I just think this card front is just perfect. You know, this kind of go-to design, that's what I'm going to talk to you about next, is doing a series of 3 things. So you can do, like I did 3 sweaters here. You can do 3 flowers. You can do, you know, 3 smiley faces. You could do 3 onesies. You could do, you know, 3 of any kind of shape. And then put that across your card front. When you add it to something with a bit of texture instead of just a plain white background, it instantly elevates your card. It gives it a little bit more of that detail. And I just really like that. This is such a simple card design. And so I feel that because it is so simple, adding that quilted panel to the background really helps it. It just really gives it that little something more. Mindy says, I still need a front camera. Yes, you do need a front camera, Mindy. Okay, and this is another thing, is I typically will use white, and I'm using Pebble here. And that's because I wanted my white sweater to really stand out. So there's my background done. I highly recommend card front dies. Check them out at Concord and 9th. You can see this one linked below, but there are lots of manufacturers that make really great card front dies. I just find them to be really awesome. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut some of our sweaters. Now I've done a little bit of pre-work here by cutting each of the sweater shapes in white cardstock, 80-pound white cardstock, and then I have layered them up. And that is because I want a little bit of dimension without using foam adhesive. So just by using some scrap pieces of white cardstock, I've gotten those ready. And then I can cut my sweaters out of the colors. And so I'm using honeysuckle for the left. I'm going to be using some white, which I need to grab a panel, some white for the center, that's the turtleneck, and then Harbor, which is that light blue. Okay, and then I'm going to be using some of these accent colors for the collars and things like that. So my first sweater is this one with the deep neck. And I'm going to grab this guy here. I love how each of the sweaters are slightly different. I think that's really cute and clever. Oh yeah, Pebble is such a great neutral, Mindy. I completely agree with you there. I just think it doesn't have too much green to it, because sometimes when you get a gray, it's like a mix between a gray and a beige. That's what I would say. A mix between gray and beige. All right. I'm going to go a little bit wider here, and I'm going to start on this side. So this one is honeysuckle with the sweater that has that deep neck. And you can see here, I'm going to be using this piece of mint tape pretty much the entire time because it lasts that long. It's so great. You can stick it on the edge of your desk, and until it doesn't stick anymore, This stuff just really lasts. So there's my honeysuckle piece. And we're not going to adhere them yet because we really want to add a little bit of detail to them. There's honeysuckle. I'm going to do white for the turtleneck. How's everybody doing today? It's Friday. Aren't we excited? We have the weekend coming. Hopefully that means some crafty time for you guys. I'm excited for the weekend. We have my daughter's birthday party, although she just got diagnosed with pneumonia this week, but she's doing much better with some antibiotics. She's on the mend. So we're good to go, I think. Good to go. Okay. Oh, thanks, Mindy. Thank you so much. I learned from the best. You guys are good at explaining too. So, okay, so I'm going to go in with Harbor and the sweater with the higher neck. Just a slight difference from the one that I did in honeysuckle. Again, thank you guys so much for being here and just supporting me. More on my YouTube channel this year, you know, card making, scrapbooking, just try to do more, maybe bi-weekly. Weekly is hard for me, obviously, because I have 3 days of work a week and, you know, I have to do that in that time. Okay, so the other thing I want to cut now, I want to kind of cut everything at the same time, are the necklines. So for the honeysuckle, I did cranberry and I think it looks super cute. And so for that one, we're going to take, ooh, let me see here. Okay, so the great thing is all the neckline pieces are together. So you don't have to, you know, guess which one is which, just cut them from each of the colors and then you can figure it out later. So I'm going to cut 3 of these. The turtleneck is on a separate one. So actually I'm going to cut 2. One from cranberry and one from blueberry. So I'm going to put those guys over there so I don't lose them. And the good thing is that if you know, have some of these left over in the end that you didn't use because they're all together, then you can keep them in a little baggie in with your die. And the next time you go to create with it, then you will have, you know, some extra pieces there that you might want to use. It's just a time saver. Mari says, I so appreciate when the creators use product that isn't brand new. I actually thought about that too. I really appreciate that feedback, Mari. I did get the latest release from Concord and 9th, but I really loved this color combination. And I really wanted to share it with you guys today because it really inspired me and I hope it inspires you too, because I really do think it is a great color combination for any time of year. And yeah, I had hoped that you guys might have this on hand. If you are a Concord and 9th lover, as I am myself, I had hoped that you might have it on hand and could, you know, maybe pull out your own set and create with it this weekend too. So I really appreciate that feedback. Thank you. And Kathy, I'm too nervous to pop that comment up on camera, just in case I mess anything up. I should try it, but okay. So here is our cute little turtleneck. And the cool thing about this one is it's not only the turtleneck, but it is also the bottom of the sweater and the sleeves. So I'm going to do that one again in cranberry and blue so I can have the bottom and the sleeves. So let's do this one again. And maybe you used this set for a Christmas card, and you haven't done like a winter card with it, like a just general winter thank you card. So, you know, get out this set again and give it a little bit of second life, you know, give it a second life. Anne says, hi, I'm watching from California. I love the colors. Thank you so much for watching, Anne. That's so nice of you. And I hope your weather is lovely there in California, much better than mine. I am in the suburbs of Chicago here, if you didn't know. in the southwest suburbs. We really like it here, but winters can be a little bit difficult. I'm getting a lot more used to driving in the snow. If you didn't know, we lived on the Gulf Coast for the last 12 years, so we really didn't have to deal with snow at all. So getting used to it again, but we're doing okay. We're doing okay. At least I don't have to use the snowblower. That's my husband's job. I don't do that one. I do a lot of things, but not the snowblower. Okay, so there's all my little pieces, and it might look like a lot, but it comes together super quickly. And sometimes you get the die sets that are just like so tiny and so hard to put together. This one is not that. I didn't find it time consuming at all. I just found it actually fun. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my Misty, and this one is from scrapbook.com. It's a scrapbook.com exclusive. I love it because of that pretty pink color. You can find that one linked below too. But I just love a Misty, and this one's a good one. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to put my cute little pink sweater here before I glue anything onto it. And let me go in a little bit closer for you guys. My husband just walked in like, is everything working? Is it okay? Yes, it's okay. Pretty. It's all working. It is a little bit warm here today too, Kathy. It's gotten a lot warmer. And yes, it does take time to figure out all the things. I'll try it maybe before the end of the live just so I can say that I did it. Okay, so the stamp set, let me just show you this real quick. It's the cutest stamp set because it has all these little sweater designs. So if I could knit, I would totally put these little star snowflake thingies on my sweaters. But since I can't, I have to stamp them on instead onto paper. So yeah, it was kind of like a running joke that my grandmother gave me her sewing machine before she passed away, and I pretty much sewed on fabric maybe 2 or 3 times to like make burp cloths for my daughter, and that was it. It was paper the rest of the time. So I'm not great at knitting or sewing, but we can do paper, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is grab my cranberry ink. I'm gonna place this right over kind of the armpit line of the sweater. Yeah, I like to cut some in real time, Barb, because even though it's a bit stressful, you don't want to cut too much, but I think I'm pretty good at filling in the dead space there of, speaking. Okay, now instead of moving my stamp, I'm gonna move my sweater up just slightly. And then I'm gonna visually look to see, I'm just gonna hold this up real quick to see if that's in a place that I like. I think I'm gonna move it a little bit further back down. I find it easier to move things on the platform, on the Misty, than I do the stamp. And this could totally mess up, and if it does, it's okay. It's real life card making here. Yeah, I like to die cut some things in advance, like the white. We didn't have to do all those on camera, but for the colors, I thought it would be nice. Okay, there's 2 lines, and I think I did 3 before. Let's go up one more. Let's see if I can keep this going here. And I'm just gonna hold this up to make sure that I like where it is. And I think I could go a little bit further up. Ooh. It's always hard to gauge. Now, when I'm doing like a sentiment or a word that I want to repeat stamp, I'll go up by 1/4 of an inch. And I love these grid lines. This is like a packet you can get from Tailored Expressions, and it just helps so much by having that grid there to line things up. So that's pretty good. I'll take it. I'll take it. So there's that. That's one little sweater. Next, I am going to grab, let's do the blue because that one's easier. And I'm going to grab my cloth here, my chamois, wipe that off. Hey, Sai, could you hand me a tissue, please? Mm-hmm. I swear, when you go live, it's like your nose automatically starts running. And this is why I didn't have my picture-in-picture on, because I was afraid that was going to happen. Okay, I'm gonna get my blue sweater right here, pop that in there, and then grab, hello, Kim Taylor. Thank you so much for coming on. You're fine, don't worry. Everything's gonna be available to watch on replay, so if you wanna go back and see, you know, the explanation of the products that I'm using, you can check that out later. There is my little snowflake in the center, and I'm gonna do that in blueberry. Yes, I've heard you say that too, Kathy, and it is the most annoying thing. And I think it's just because your heart rate goes up when you're on a live. Like even if you've done it as many times as you have, Kathy, you know, there's still things that can go wrong. Like, you know, like when you switch to your front camera, your split screen, and that happens, I'm like, man, that is just like going live, right? Anything can go wrong. And so it's just a little bit nerve-wracking. And so obviously noses run. So that one was easy, right? We just did a little bit of blueberry snowflake there in the center. Now this one is going to be a little bit more detailed because I wanted this white sweater to include all the colors. Now this is something I do a lot on scrapbooking as well. I always want to get all of the colors on one thing, and it kind of ties your color scheme together really nicely when you do that. Now, let me see what I did here. I did the little crosses first. I'm going to do that at the top and at the bottom. So I'm going to do the same thing where we're kind of going along the armpit line. And I'm going to do this in Harbor. It is the cutest thing, Mari. I can't handle this set. Anything where you take like an everyday element and make it in miniature, I think that's the cutest thing. And Concord and Ninth is really good at creating products like that. They really are. Okay, so I did that one. And instead of going and doing it again on the bottom, I'm just going to go down from the top. The next one that I did is the line. And this one I'm doing in Stardust, which is one of my favorite kind of yellow hues. And I'm going to put my head over the camera real quick. This one's a hard one to place because it is a line. That stamp does not like to stand up that well. So there we go. I think I've got it in place. And grabbing Stardust. Oh, Barb said that time you swiped your mouse and killed the live stream. Yes, anything can go wrong. It can. And this is my first time using a brand new to me platform. It's much easier than the one I used before. Like it does things kind of for you, and you can create things in the software instead of outside of the software, but it's still something to get used to. So I was really happy that my intro went on, my countdown went on, and everything seemed to go okay. But okay, next I'm gonna do those cute little flowery snowflakes, and I'm gonna do those in honeysuckle. So we're going with like the lighter colors on this sweater. And look how juicy my honeysuckle is. I need to clean that guy up. And I have not re-inked it either. It's just juicy. Okay. Perfect. I hope juicy is not one of those words that's like offensive, like moist. I know a lot of people don't like moist, so maybe juicy is okay to use, better than moist. Okay, going back in again with, and did I wipe that off? Let me just make sure. Because if I put that down and it's not in the right place, you're gonna see a little tiny shadow. Let me go in closer so you guys can see this. Super cute. You would love some scrapbooking videos. Yeah, and I still scrapbook. I do less and less in 12 by 12 now. I prefer 8.5 inch by 11 inch, and I do pocket pages for my everyday kind of family memories. But I also have a lot of scrapbooking videos on the SCT YouTube channel because I try to do one with every issue release. So be sure to check out the Scrapbook and Cards Today YouTube channel and subscribe to us because we have some really exciting things coming in 2024. We have our first video of 2024 coming out next week with a guest designer, so you won't want to miss that. I'm really excited about it. And last, I'm going to go in with the little crosses and harbor. There we go. And this is the last one. Juicy is better than moist, says scrapbook.com. That is good to know. I will continue to use Juicy. I love it. The things we talk about on lives, right? Now that one's a little off, but it's handmade. It's handmade. My angle was off. We're going to go with it, right? And if I knitted this sweater, it would not be straight anyway. So, you know, we're going to go with that sweater. We're going to go with him. Okay, there we go. So I've got my 3 sweaters, and the thing I need to do next is just add the cute little details. I'm gonna wipe my nose again. I'm gonna add the cute little details to my sweaters, and that means I need like my little pick tool here. So for this, I'm going to grab, now I'm using scrapbook.com glue that I really like, and it's Artiste glue. It's their Artiste craft glue. It's a great glue. It dries quickly, I find, and I always find that important when you're die cutting and adhering things, because you don't want to wait too long when you're, you know, creating a card and you only have so much time. I should have put this upside down. And I'm also using a Gina K Designs little precision tip bottle. Love these. So I just fill that with my scrapbook.com glue. And the Artiste craft glue also comes with tips for that glue as well, so that you don't have to, you know, change it, put it in another bottle. If you want, you can use actually that bottle with their tips, which are really great too. I just like having this tiny bottle like always on my desk. I love the neckline of this sweater because it reminds me of like pearls. So it's a little cute grandma sweater. I would totally wear these sweaters too, Lisa. I totally would. Yeah, I know, Kathy. These little bottles are just the best. And I always think that I am going to run out of this glue at any time. And it's like, it keeps going. It never runs out. It's the glue that is always coming. All right, one more, just putting the little sleeves on here. And I love the contrast that this adds with the honeysuckle and the little pieces of cranberry parts of the sweater on top. How sweet is that? Isn't that the cutest? So there's one sweater done. Let's do our turtleneck. And I love this one because it has the Stardust turtleneck too. This sweater is one that I would buy in a heartbeat. Maybe I should ping my mom and just like send her the little pic of the sweater and say, please knit this for me for next Christmas. That's all I want for Christmas, Mom. Thank you. Because she is a crocheter and a knitter, so she could do that for me. There you go. And then I'm going to put the bottom on. I really like the bottom detail a lot. Lisa Hedrick, are you kidding me? Thank you so much for being here. I know you have like 1,021,000 things to do. So I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. It is the glue that keeps on coming. Yes, it is. Wow. Oh, yeah, thank you. Kim, I'm just going to put this out here. So this is the color palette I'm using because I knew you were a little bit late. And so you can go back and check that out, and you can find all of the links below. But I got this color palette from a piece of stationery that was sitting on my desk, and I just love it. Now I'm missing a little sweater piece here. So this is live, right? You lose a die cut and you just, the show keeps going. Let me see if it's on my die cutting platform here. Not stuck to that. It could be, no, it's not. Always check your mint tape to see if it's there. And it could be on my die piece, like maybe it just didn't come out. No, not there. I can always cut that later and finish off that card in the end because I don't see it here. Okay, there's that sweater. And then the last one, we are going to trim out in the blueberry so we can match that snowflake. Oh, thanks so much, Kim. Okay, there we go. Put that on there. We are going to do, let's see, this neckline is the higher neckline. So it's this one here. I like that they're all slightly different with different necklines and, you know, different colors, and one's a bit more feminine and than this one, and they're just great. And you know what? This would be a great card for a man or a woman. I think because of the color scheme. It's not overly feminine, it's not masculine. It's kind of like somewhere right in the middle. And I love that because I know it's hard to come up with a design to send to a guy that you think they're gonna like, right? Especially like people like your dad or your husband. The we pieces are sneaky. I don't know where that one went. It's a mystery. Oh, you know what? I just found it. It's on my jeans. Isn't that always, it's always on your sleeve or in your lap or down in your bra. That can happen too. Okay, there's our blue one. So there's our 3 little sweaters up here. And let me get this guy, look. Because if he would have fallen on my floor, I would have never found him. Are you laughing at me? My husband's laughing at me. I should have made him the producer today to sit in the dead space and just like comment on comments. Should I mic you up? Yeah. I think he says that's a no. That's a no. He does have a British accent, so I'm sure I would get more viewers if I had him to comment in the dead space. Maybe we should do that, babe. Okay, so there are our 3 sweaters, and we are going to place them like that. Before we put them on our card though, we want to give them some dimension. I'm using my other scrapbook.com glue because I don't really need, you know, a fine tip for this application. Pull that off. Oh, there we go. It's gluey. And this one I'm just going to kind of feather in some of this glue here and pop this on top. The most important thing here is that you line it up carefully so that you won't see that white. And the other tip you can do, now I have so much, you know, white scrap pieces of cardstock, is if you really don't want to see it, you can make the under part, you know, the layers in pebble. So then when you lay it here, you're only going to see pebble, but I had white, so we went with white. So there's the pink. Mindy said she wants to hear the accent. Yes, Simon, Catherine knows. Simon would be an excellent moderator. They're all saying yes, Simon. Maybe someday. Or I could have him voice over my card like Kathy did her husband, which was both Simon and I watched that. It was the most hilarious thing in the whole wide world. Yeah, you wouldn't have a clue what you were talking about, and that's the funny part. That's the funny part. Even though he sits here with me, like on some days when we both work from home and sees what I do, he still has no idea. Still has no clue. Yeah, now I need to, they're saying, now you need to say hello and bump up the view count. Bump up the subscribers. I need to mic him though. That's the thing. Is if I get him on and he's just talking and not mic'd, it won't be as good. Yes to Simon, bring him on. Yeah, me and Simon create together. Catherine, could you imagine his cards? And can you imagine what a perfectionist he would be? He probably would have redone this sweater about 3 times, for sure.
But you're doing ceramic instead.
Okay, so remember when I'm going back, guys. I'm just gonna say hi. I'm still here. I'm still here and having fun and not shaking as much now. So thank you guys all for being here. We are nearly done. Super excited. I'm gonna go back to the table. Mari says, we all love a great accent. I have my Siri speak with a male British accent. I know. Yeah, that's why I married him. Okay, so my go-to design. A row of 3 things. So 3s and 5s are fantastic. When you do 3s, it's kind of the perfect ratio. So you can come up with any kind of color scheme. You can put 3 flowers here in a row and put a sentiment under it with a textured background. That's a go-to card design, you guys. It's just easy and always effective. So if you're in a creative rut for creating your cards, then doing this way, just 3 of something in a row with a sentiment below. Now, if you're a scrapbooker, 3 photos in a row, it's kind of the same thing. 3 photos in a row with your title below and some embellishment in between your photos and your title. That's golden. I mean, that's a great layout right there. Okay, I'm not going to pop these up anymore. I want my sentiment to be a little bit more popped up. So I got those in place, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue these down. I love this color palette too, Lisa. I hope you'll use it, and I bet if you use it, it'll be stunning on your creations. Okay, and the most important thing is to get these guys straight. And you know what? The great thing about that background is that it can help you to line things up, because I can see here I have about that much space in between the corner of that diamond. So I'm going to shoot for that much space on the corner over here too. I'm not great at measuring things, but eyeballing I can do. Now it's a little bit harder when you're not standing above it, but this grid does help a lot. So let me get this guy here. I'm going to get him a little bit closer to the center. There we go. And then this one here. And while I am doing my sentiment, I'm going to put an acrylic block on them to really get them down. And this one here. And I'm kind of looking in the camera to see if that looks about straight. I think this one needs to come down a little bit. Because their arms are, a little bit different. I think this one has the longest arm. So I'm looking here at the bottom line. That's really what I want to line up. So we're going to put this crop and create on there and put that aside while I stamp a sentiment. So before I did thank you, I actually think I could do you're the absolute best. Or what do you guys think? Or thank you, thank you. That one's kind of fun. I don't think I'll do celebrate all the things, but I think you're the absolute best. We're going to go with that one this time. Or we could do thank you and then stamp you're the absolute best on the inside. Let's do that. I like that. I like that idea. Okay. Oh, I'm getting my paper trimmer and not my MISTI. Let's get the MISTI instead. How about that? And I'll go out a little bit. There we go. Okay. So I've got my scrap piece of white here, and I'm going to stamp my thank you. There's a little bit of schmuck on there. We don't want that on our sentiment. So if I can get that on straight there. Everything's a little bit crooked right now. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to get this kind of tight in here because I want to give it a bit of a trim all the way around. That looks about right. Okay, so my goal is not to have to trim it on the top or the side. Let's see if I can achieve that. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go in with blueberry because I'm gonna back it with a little strip of blueberry to help that sentiment stand out a little bit. So we want that to coordinate. And I'm going to grab my Stampendable tool. This actually matches the MISTI at scrapbook.com, and I really love that. And I'm going to do this one more time just to make sure that gets really nice and dark. Barb said, oh, inside stamping. Yeah. You are a really good writer inside your cards, Barb. You're a really good writer inside your cards. But yes, sometimes if you don't know what to write, it is really good. It's really good to stamp something on the inside because it takes up some room and then you don't feel the pressure to write too much. Okay, so there's our thank you. It's a little bit thick. You know what? Let's do it one more time. It's okay. Sometimes we have to do things twice. It's all right. We're going to do that one more time. And then I will have to trim it, but that's okay. That is okay. Okay, let's go back over that one more time. Oh, you're so welcome about the composition tips. Yeah, whenever I have like a go-to design, I like to share it. It's just something that's, you know, easy and quick. And it always works, this design. It always works. There's something magical about the power of three things lined up. In a class I'm teaching next month, I have a card that I have three things on it as well, and I cut them off on the sides because it's vertical instead of horizontal, and that works really well too. So, okay, let's trim this guy out. And I'm just going to go about 1/8 of an inch above the text. Looks like I need a new blade today too. Okay, and I'm going to do a little trim here, just to the side. Okay, there's my sentiment strip. And a little tip, if your blade isn't sharp enough and you have little bits, take a mono eraser, a sand eraser, and just run it along the edges, and it will sand off those little hairs instead of you having to get scissors, because I find that if I get scissors and I try to cut those off, then I will inadvertently cut into my sentiment and then I have to redo my sentiment again. Happens to me all the time. So, okay, so I have this one is not big enough, so let me grab another piece of blueberry. And you can see here that I cut it before with a strip, but this time I'm gonna wing it. We're just gonna wing it. So this one is, I'm just gonna hold it on the white and line that up. Barb said, is that for SCT's Let's Stamp Together class? No, I think that one is for Celebrations Delivered actually, which I'm really excited about. And if you guys haven't heard, we had a few spots open for Celebrations Delivered open up when we, you know, got our kits in and we counted the numbers. We found that we had a few more spots. So if you were hoping to sign up for that, please go check that out at SCT's website. You can find it under, I believe, the kits tab. Can't believe I don't know that right now off the top of my head. Free range cutting, I know, Kathy. It's really brave of me to do that on my first live. Are you proud of me? Are you proud of me? Okay, look, and it worked. Look, okay, I'm gonna go in a little bit closer here. Now, I really like a shadow layer. I'm just a graphic kind of girl. I like a shadow layer. And so what I'm doing now is just creating a little shadow layer. But if you have those little white hairs, you're going to really see them against that blueberry. So let's get those off. Get those off of there. Okay, and then I'm going to use my scrapbook.com adhesive here. Get that on there. And I'm going to have this go to the left and higher than my blueberry strip, so it looks like a little blueberry shadow. How's that? Perfect. And then I can take my card front here and I'm just going to pop that right there. Let's grab some foam tape here and my new Spellbinder scissors, which are the greatest things ever. I just love these babies. These are the 9-inch Pro shears. They don't stick to anything. They're fantastic. So I highly recommend. I should put those in the link below just so you guys have those because they are great. And I'm going to be brave and not glue this up and just hope that I can get it on straight. Now look, you have the center line is right about here. That's your center. And so when you're lining this up, you want to make sure that the diamond portion on the left and the right is equal, and the diamond portion on the top and bottom is equal. So no pressure here. And I think we nailed it. I think so. That looks pretty good to me. The last thing I'm going to do is, now if you were sending this to a guy, maybe you wouldn't want to do this part. Yeah, this is my first live on my channel, Kim. So I've always gone live on the SCT Facebook page and the SCT YouTube page and in our events. But this is the first time I've ever gone live on my own channel, because I've always just focused on, you know, doing what I do for SCT. So I'm pretty excited to be going live more here this year and just, you know, doing more on my channel. I love the offset shadow too, Kathy. It's a good one. It's good. It just helps, it helps to break up some of that whiteness. And especially if you have a white background and you have a white sentiment strip, then it's really cool to add that little shadow layer there. So I'm going to add 3 dots, one in Stardust, one in Harbor, one in white. Let me just throw these back over here. I'll put those away later. You should see the crafter math after a live. It's crazy. And then I'm going to grab some sequins and do a couple more just little sparkles. I'll do one here and one here. Ooh, now I have an even number. Let's just see what that looks like. Let's see. Oh, one. I always do the small ones at the top. 2 and 1 right there. I love it. What do you guys think? Isn't that the cutest? So winter is still here, and I still want to send some winter cards, especially here, you know, in Chicago. It's still here and it's alive and kicking. So I hope you guys like this card. Remember, if you are kind of running out of ideas, cut a series of 3 things. Try to mix up the colors and put them in a row on a textured background, you know, any kind of texture. You can ink blend something with a stencil. You can use a card front die like I did, and then put a sentiment below, and you've got a really great card. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me today. I am just thrilled that you were all here. Really, really pleased. And yeah, I can't thank you enough. Be sure to check out the link to all the products I use below. I have this picture on my Instagram feed. So if you want to save that, if you like this color scheme, you know, save that picture so that you can create with it later. And if you do, be sure to tag me so that I can see it. If you don't follow me yet, I have a little thing for that. You can go to meghannandrew.com and find all my social media links there. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me today. And thank you, Trudy. Thank you, Lisa. All my friends who are here, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you, Barb. Thanks, scrapbook.com. You guys are awesome. And I will see you later. Have a wonderful, creative weekend, guys. Bye-bye.